on the 20th of April, we've got quite a big astrological event coming up. It's an exact conjunction between Uranus and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, which a lot of astrologers are talking about at the moment. So I felt that it was possibly my duty as an astrologer to record a video on this conjunction, though it's not as rare as you would think. This occurs every 14 years or so. It doesn't occur in the sign of Taurus very often, but the conjunction itself does occur every 14 years. So it's rare enough to count, but not extremely rare to be a once in a lifetime occurrence for people or for society. So before I go into the video, I wanted to please ask you, if you do watch this video or some of this video, then please like the video on YouTube or wherever else you see this video. It really does help for the content to be bumped up on the platform, and that means that more people will have access to this kind of content, which is very much needed at the moment. And there will be so many people interested in a video like this, but it's extremely hard to get it seen and visible when there is so much competition in terms of content like this. So please like this video and subscribe if you would like to, and it would really help to get this content to more people. So let's go straight into this conjunction between these two planets. Though it is semi-rare, let's call it, it will still leave a fingerprint on people personally, but also collectively as well. So it's worth talking about, and it's worth discussing how we might get this particular conjunction right, but also how we might get it wrong, so that we can empower ourselves to do the right thing and to respond to it in the best possible way. So my approach to astrology is very much a cosmic approach to astrology. So as an Aquarian, I'm always trying to lift myself above the detail and look down from a larger perspective, more holistically on things in life and events that happen. And there's a lot of video content out there at the moment that talks about this particular conjunction, but from a very mundane point of view. So the astrologers will often list things that may happen during this conjunction, things like surprising events with money, or a change in how we deal with money, or perhaps mass rebellions, or changes on a personal and collective level in terms of how we view safety and security, which money falls within. And all of those things are completely valid. However, it's my belief that we live lives down here on Earth that are a reflection of what is occurring cosmically above us. And so every event and every individual life is connected intimately to the larger cosmic plan and the larger unfolding purpose of the universe. And so we live on a small scale in detail down here, but it's everything, every day and every moment and every event is connected to the larger cosmic unfolding of our consciousness, our evolution of consciousness. So while it's okay to talk about the detail and about the mundane expressions of particular astrological events, it's really important for people to understand why that particular event is occurring, so that they can make the connection back to the larger evolutionary picture. Otherwise, we are just trapped in our personal stories without any real sense of connection to something bigger and a sense of meaning as to why we are that way or why that event is unfolding. So I'm going to take a brief cosmic look at this conjunction and try to lift the information up from the mundane to the bigger evolutionary picture of what's going on. So Jupiter is about growth and expansion in our natal charts, personally as individuals, and also for all of us collectively in terms of the evolutionary journey of us all. It's basically how we go about expanding and growing ourselves usually from a mind perspective. So it's opening up our beliefs, and basically Jupiter supports a striving for expanding our horizons in some way. So leaving our narrow visions behind and widening a more all-encompassing view of life and belief systems and values in life. So then we look at Uranus, and Uranus is about it's about individuation, breaking free from the herd and herd mentality, and it's also about the higher mind. And the difference between the lower mind and the higher mind is the lower mind is concerned with daily events and daily unfoldings, and it's very, very personal. And the higher mind is more concerned with the bigger picture, with the cosmic view of things, and is far less personal. It's much more impersonal. So here we have two planets that are coming together in a really powerful way. And what that means is that personal growth and expansion is inseparable at this time from our higher mind and from breaking free from the herd. And I just want to make a quick mention about individuation, because Uranus and the sign of Aquarius, which it rules, is about individuation, but it's often mistaken for a very forceful, obvious, literal and deliberate individuation from others. That could be something as simple as dyeing your hair blue, or doing a very different job, or somehow very visibly and obviously breaking away from the norm in society. That, again, is just a worldly, smaller expression of the larger cosmic plan. When we think about individuation from a higher cosmic perspective, it's about individuating from the herd mind. So it's about, instead of thinking subjectively and being lost and blind amongst collective beliefs or society's general way of thinking of things, something as simple as it's normal to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, for example, then when you lift your mind higher than that and you see these things much more objectively, then this is what it really means to break away from the herd. It means clear seeing, and it means having a bird's eye, holistic, objective view of how society works and how it thinks, so that you are then not lost in all of that, and you can think more clearly and make your own clear, rational decisions on things without getting caught up in the mix of collective beliefs. So with Jupiter and Uranus coming together like this, there's quite a lot of shaking up to be done. Uranus is the planet of shaking things up, of breaking free from things. And Jupiter is obviously the planet of our beliefs. So one of the things that needs shaking up at this time is our belief systems. So sometimes Jupiter, which rules the sign of Sagittarius, can become heavily dogmatic. So the church, for example, the Catholic Church, just as one example, but it applies to all religions, can sometimes become very dogmatic. And all sorts of belief systems can become dogmatic, but we often see it mostly in organized religions. So our belief systems at this time need shaking up. In order to expand our narrow way of thinking, we need to radically change the way that we think about our collective beliefs. So this conjunction may have an impact on religions around the world in some way. Also, our sense of faith, our general optimism and faith in life, our belief in life in general as a good, positive thing, or our belief in life as something really negative, hard and filled with suffering, also needs to be shaken up and given a rattle and changed for the better, collectively and personally. And going back to the idea of dogma, so dogmatic beliefs, like I was saying, is not just an organized religion that becomes dogmatic. It's also very basic belief systems, like boys like blue or girls like pink. We're already seeing those things changing drastically, but it's also things like we should generally work Monday to Friday. We should generally work 5 days a week as the acceptable number of days to work, as in the UK at least. Things like those are dogmatic belief systems that we all adhere to, that somehow this conjunction is going to help us to break free from. Doesn't mean necessarily change, doesn't necessarily mean do it differently in a worldly way, but it means seeing it differently and having a different perspective on it, which then may eventually lead to change. And then success. Jupiter is about success. So it is shaking up and changing our current definition of success. Very literally, our current definition may be something along the lines of, you have a good job and you build a career, you stay in that career, the same career for a long time. You become successful when you have a high up position and when you earn lots of money. So that is just a collective belief system. And Uranus is coming along to shake that up and redefine what success actually means to us all. And it could be, for example, something like success is when you are happy. It doesn't matter how much money you earn or what position you have in the company. Are you happy? And the definition of success is your level of happiness. That's just one example of how Uranus might shake things up. So we have to remember to keep thinking on a higher level rather than a worldly level. And all of these worldly goings on and worldly events on an individual and collective level are just a reflection of the higher cosmic journey that we are on. The fundamental idea of this conjunction, if you forget all the details and all the stories that may play out here on Earth in our lives and in our policies and in our laws and rules, then we're looking at simply a shake-up of our collective belief systems. It doesn't really matter what those belief systems are exactly or what they become. That's not the point. What matters with this conjunction is how much we expand our current beliefs and how much room and spaciousness we allow for new beliefs to come in. So it's not the content that matters so much, it's the space that we make in our minds and our views for new things to come in. This is the essential meaning of this conjunction. So the conjunction's happening in the sign of Taurus. So a lot of astrologers are talking about money, economy, and different systems of money and world banking at the moment, again, which is all completely relevant. But with Taurus, it's about our personal and collective relationship to money. How much do we let money drive us? How much emphasis do we put on money being a measure of our sense of self-worth or a measure of how safe and secure we are? We need to find some new beliefs around this, around money. But again, money is just the story that's playing out on the stage of life. Money connects to the bigger cosmic picture because it's asking us to question our sense of safety and security, and our sense of empowerment. And what it's asking us ultimately is to find safety and security in our spiritual heritage, our spiritual home. The highest meaning of Taurus is Taurus energy can sense and see the spiritual life force in things of matter, in everything. Even if it doesn't appear to have life per se, there is spirituality in every single object and creature on Earth. So the higher meaning of Taurus is to begin to sense safety and security in that rather than in physical money. And also Taurus is about worth and value, a sense of self-worth and value. So again, the higher cosmic understanding of this is, where does our true sense of self-worth and value really lie? Well, ultimately it lies with our spiritual essence, with the truth that we are connected to something spiritually vast and that we are omnipresent and that we are we live on past our own deaths. and continue to live on in this spiritual way in some way. So our worth and value is often played out down here on earth as money and belongings, material status, job status, success, all of these things. And with this conjunction, we're being asked to radically shake that up and transform what that all means to us. And I hope in some way lift our rather small-minded perspectives on the physical playings out of these things to something much higher. And where are we looking for our worth and value ultimately? So with this conjunction, yes, it's about a break and a break for freedom. A lot of astrologers are calling it a break for freedom. That's very true. But a break from what? Freedom from what? On a mundane level, people are describing it as a break from money, or a break from having to go to work, for example, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. They're treating it as a break from the stories that play out in our lives down here on Earth. But when we look at the cosmic perspective, it's a break and freedom from our own limited belief systems. And we have to take back ownership of the caging that we have put round our minds and our perspectives, that we've slotted into in society to believe any number of things that the government or our communities or society tells us in general. And we've closed off our minds to anything outside of that. And so this conjunction is asking us to break free from our limited perspectives and our limited beliefs. It doesn't matter, again, what those particular beliefs are or what you change them to. What matters is that you break free from your limitations. What matters is you expand and allow spaciousness and room for alternative beliefs and alternative ideas to come in. So, as with any astrological event, there are positive and negative effects. So if a person or a group of people collectively is very much attached to the worldly expressions, what I like to call the stories that play out on the stage of life down here, with very little connection to the higher cosmic purpose and evolution that's going on, some of the very mundane expressions of how this conjunction may play out for us are things like overly optimistic and very radical ideas and decisions being made that have not been thought through and are somehow destructive and chaotic in nature, creating change for the sake of change without really thinking through the consequences, just to bust through a system or to create havoc or rebel in some way for the sake of rebellion and havoc, without truly thinking, how is this connected to the collective, or how is this connected to the cosmic higher order of our reason for being on Earth? So things like also separating from others, individuating in very literal, drastic ways that cause a feeling of just total divide and separation between people, when the point was to break free and individuate. But when that's done selfishly and from a worldly perspective, it just creates divide and anger and further separation of people and a non-coming together. So we may see aspects of that playing out. Things like breaking the law, individuals or large groups of people throwing away the law and just breaking the law for the sake of it without, again, thinking it through, could be an expression. As well as we could see events of extremist dogma coming through. So in different countries around the world, we may see very extremist religious behavior that's harmful to others, because there is this impulse to break free and this impulse to individuate and create change. But if it's not connected to the higher order, then it will come out in these ways that are harmful to others. It will come out very literally here on Earth as a story that will harm others. So there's some of the possible ways that this conjunction could play out on a negative level. So I hope that's a good overview of the conjunction and provides you with some more understanding about what's going on in the skies and how it relates to us down below. I have recorded another video where I take you through the conjunction happening in houses 1 through to 12. So on a more personal level, I've been speaking about it collectively on this video, but the next video, which I shall include a link to in the description, is the different houses 1 through to 12, which is essentially the areas of life or the stage of life that it will happen for you, or you will feel the effects of on a much more personal, individual level. And that is your contribution, your personal contribution to the higher cosmic unfolding of our consciousness as we evolve collectively. We each, as an individual, with our own stories and our own lives and our own events playing out, have a contribution to make to that higher picture. And the decisions that we make and the ways that we respond to the astrological energy in our charts slots in to that larger cosmic picture. So I will take the conjunction as it moves through the houses and give some clues and point the way towards how it may express itself for you as an individual and what it's asking you to do personally, your personal contribution to this amazing evolutionary journey of consciousness that's unfolding for us all. So please watch and like that video. And again, if you've made it to the end of this video and you liked it, please like the video, as it will help the content become visible to others who may be really interested in seeing it. And thank you very much for watching.